before you scroll, take a breath with me. Right now, something inside you brought you here. Welcome to Therapist Live. This is more than a channel. It's a space for clarity, healing, and real emotional growth. Here, we talk about mental health, self-awareness, relationships, and the patterns that shape your life. If you're ready to understand yourself on a deeper level, subscribe now and turn on notifications because this journey starts today. Take a deep breath and let's begin. There's a question that haunts every thinking person. Why? Why do children get cancer? Why do earthquakes happen? Why is the world so full of pain? It is enough to make you hate the universe. It is enough to make you want to burn it all down. But there is another option, a strange, small, almost absurd option. It involves a cat, a pen of light, and the courage to keep your eyes open in the dark. We have traveled a long road. We started with the lobster and the biology of hierarchy. We talked about the necessity of chaos and order, the danger of lies, and the responsibility of the individual. But now we have to face the final boss. We have to face the tragedy of being. Rule 12 is simple on the surface. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. But like all the rules, it is a metaphor for something much deeper. It is about how to sustain your soul when the lights go out. I have a daughter, Michaela. When she was a little girl, she was sunny and happy. But when she was 6, she started to limp. She was in pain. We took her to specialists, and the diagnosis was a nightmare: juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. 37 of her joints were affected. She was in constant, agonizing pain. She needed hip replacements and ankle replacements before she was even an adult. She was on powerful medications that clouded her mind and ravaged her body. As a father, watching your child suffer is the worst kind of hell. It makes you question everything. It makes you ask, what kind of God would allow this? What kind of reality is built on the torment of innocence? It is easy to become bitter in the face of such suffering. It is easy to become like Cain, who looked at the unfairness of the world and decided to take revenge on existence itself. You can shake your fist at the sky. You can decide that life is a bad joke and that nothing matters. But there's a problem with that path. It leads to hell, literally. If you become bitter, if you become resentful, you don't just suffer, you start to make things worse. You start to take it out on the people around you. You start to multiply the suffering. And the pit of human misery has no bottom. So what do? You have to understand that limitation is the price of existence. If you were omnipotent, if you couldn't be hurt, if you couldn't fail, you wouldn't be. You would be everything and therefore nothing. Superman became boring when he couldn't be hurt. Heroes are only heroes because they are vulnerable. We love people because they are fragile, because they are finite. But understanding that philosophically doesn't stop the pain. When you are in the midst of a crisis, when the floodwaters are rising, you have to change your time frame. You can't think about the next 10 years. You can't even think about next month. You might not even be able to think about tomorrow. You have to shrink your horizon to the manageable. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. You have to focus on the next hour, the next minute. You have to ask yourself, what is the right thing to do right now? And you do that, and then you do it again. You survive the war by winning one tiny battle at a time. And in the middle of that war, you must keep your eyes open for the little things, the small graces. This is where the cat comes in. Cats are strange creatures. They are not like dogs. Dogs are social. They are part of our tribe. Cats are half wild. They are manifestations of nature. When a cat walks up to you on the street and decides for a moment to interact with you, it is a gift. It is a tiny, unexpected piece of the universe approving of you. If you are walking down the street head down, consumed by your own misery, focusing only on the tragedy of your life, you will walk right past the cat. You will walk right past the sunset. You will walk right past the smile of a stranger. You will miss the little moments of redemption that make life bearable. To pet a cat is to pay attention. It is to stop for just a second and appreciate the wonder of being, even when being is flawed. It is a reminder that even in the midst of a hurricane, there are pockets of calm. There is beauty. And if you acknowledge that beauty, if you interact with it, you get a little bit of strength. You get a little bit of light. And you need that light. I once asked for a pen that lit up, a pen of light, so I could write in the dark, and I asked myself, what shall I do with this pen? I wrote down a series of questions and answers to myself, trying to figure out how to orient myself in this difficult world. I asked, what shall I do with my life? The answer, aim for paradise and concentrate on today. I asked, what shall I do with my wife? The answer, treat her as if she is a holy mother of God, so that she may give birth to the world-redeeming hero. I asked, what shall I do with the world? The answer, conduct myself as if being is more valuable than non-being. This is the antidote to chaos. It is not safety. It is not the absence of pain. It is a decision, the voluntary, courageous decision, to aim at the highest good you can conceive of and to work towards it with everything you have. It is a decision to pick up your cross and walk up the hill. We are all carrying a heavy load. We all have our tyrants to face, our chaos to navigate, our tragedies to endure. But look at what human beings can do. Look at the music we write. Look at the cities we build. Look at the way we can love each other in the face of death. We are stronger than we think. You are stronger than you think. So stand up straight. Treat yourself with respect. Tell the truth. Do what is meaningful. And when you see a cat on the street, when you see a moment of grace in the middle of the storm, take a minute. Pet the cat. It's good for you. And it's good for the cat. Good luck. In my view, Jordan Peterson stands out not because he offers easy comfort, but because he demands responsibility. In 12 Rules for Life, he argues that meaning is not found in pleasure, status, or avoidance of suffering, but in voluntarily carrying the weight of existence. Whether one agrees with all of his cultural or political views, the psychological core of his message is difficult to dismiss. Life is chaotic, suffering is inevitable, and the individual must choose courage over resentment. What makes Peterson compelling is his insistence that order begins at the smallest scale. Clean your room is not about furniture. It is about confronting disorder within yourself before attempting to fix the world. His rules are less about control and more about orientation. Stand up straight, tell the truth, seek what is meaningful rather than expedient. These principles echo ancient wisdom traditions while being grounded in clinical psychology. At the same time, Peterson is a polarizing figure. Critics argue that his tone can be severe or that his social commentary overshadows his therapeutic insights. Yet even this controversy reflects something central to his philosophy. Speech matters, ideas matter, and individuals matter. Ultimately, 12 Rules for Life is not a book about perfection. It is about responsibility in the face of tragedy. It reminds the reader that meaning is not handed to us. We build it through discipline, honesty, and the willingness to shoulder our burdens. Whether embraced fully or approached critically, Peterson's work challenges us to ask a serious question. If life is suffering, who will you choose to become in response to it? Many readers praise Jordan Peterson for translating complex psychological and philosophical ideas into practical guidance in 12 Rules for Life. Supporters often argue that the book fills a cultural gap, especially for young people searching for structure, responsibility, and direction. Peterson's emphasis on discipline, honesty, and incremental self-improvement has been described as a modern articulation of ancient wisdom. By combining clinical psychology, mythology, and everyday advice, he creates a framework that feels both intellectually serious and personally actionable. Another common positive opinion is that the book restores dignity to the idea of personal responsibility. Instead of blaming society, luck, or circumstances alone, Peterson urges individuals to begin by correcting what is within their control. Readers often say this message feels empowering rather than oppressive. The idea that meaning emerges from voluntarily carrying responsibility, rather than chasing happiness, has resonated deeply with people who feel lost or overwhelmed. For many, the rules function as anchors in chaotic times. Some commentators also appreciate Peterson's willingness to address suffering directly, rather than offering quick motivational slogans. He acknowledges tragedy, malevolence, and hardship as permanent features of human life. Supporters argue that this realism makes his optimism more credible. The message is not life is easy, but life is hard, and you can still stand up straight within it. That combination of seriousness and hope is frequently cited as one of the book's greatest strengths. Finally, Many readers value the book's call to truthful speech and careful thought. Peterson repeatedly emphasizes the moral importance of telling the truth, or at least not lying. Admirers see this as a defense of intellectual integrity and personal courage in a time of confusion and polarization. Whether one agrees with all of his broader views or not, supporters argue that the psychological core of his message, order your life, act with integrity, pursue meaning over expedience, offers a challenging but constructive path forward. Thank you for going on this journey through the 12 rules with me. If this series has meant something to you, please share it with someone who needs it. Leave a comment below about which rule hit you the hardest. And remember to subscribe. There's always more to learn.